Let's talk about the Cowboys and the Eagles because that was a hell of a performance by the Cowboys. Offensively, I mean, they just put on a show to start that game because they had 4 drives to start in the first half, ended up scoring on all of those drives. And the Cowboys offense right now is just built around Dak Prescott. It is the Texco's offense is just code for it being Dak Prescott's offense. And there are a couple of things we're gonna add, and I said that Dak, after Dak, it was announced that Dak was going to be a father. All right, they got Daddy Dak now, and my man Ty has kept up with this too. A lot of athletes, not all of them, but a lot of athletes get a bump when they become a father. All right, for the first time, they do. You just got to go look at it. It's something that's kind of been documented. Maybe it's more folklore than legend than anything else. But I expected that from Dak, just because of Dak's football character. And maybe that's a big reason why Dak is playing the best football of his career too. But this Texas offense is Dak's offense, and it's the biggest reason why Dak's in the MVP conversation and is the front runner. And I said last week that if Dak beat the Philadelphia Eagles and he played well, that he was going to be the odds-on favorite for MVP, and he pretty much is, no matter where you're looking. DraftKings got him at plus 175, and Brock Purdy right behind him at plus 200. BetMGM has him at plus 150 right now as their odds-on favorite to win MVP. And ESPN Bet, they got him at plus 175 ahead of Brock Purdy at plus 225. I can't think of a time ever where Dak has been the odds-on favorite to win MVP, because if you're watching the Cowboys game and seeing them winning, they're playing some good football in a lot of ways, but there's no doubt they're winning mostly because of the way Dak Prescott is playing. That's why I think he's got a better chance to win it over Brock Purdy, because Brock Purdy, the argument is it's the system. Yeah, the argument that the system. And that's a valid argument because there have been a lot of quarterbacks that have been in the Shanahan system. They haven't played as well as Brock Purdy, but they've still had success. The Cowboys' success is built on, or at least it relies heavily on the performance of Dak. And how about this? I'll give you a little stat about the Cowboys and the 49ers, since we already know they're on a collision course. I mean, it's if the Cowboys want to get to a Super Bowl, they want to go through San Fran and likely want to do it in the NFC title game, which is the goal for this Cowboys team. I'll give you a stat about that a little bit later on that you've heard me give before. But the best, if you look at point differential, the best point differential through 13 games in the last 10 years, the Cowboys and the 49ers are second and third, plus 188 and plus 175. The 2019 Ravens are at plus 194, so they're first. The only time the Niners had a better point differential in the first 13 games of the season came in 1984 when they were plus 183. So the Cowboys are playing at a really high level, and so are the 49ers. And you go look at right now what the Cowboys are doing offensively. Offensively, they're among the best scoring teams in the league. Dak said recently, and this is how you know Dak's feeling good about himself. Dak said, if I play my best game, we were putting a 50 up there.
They've done that a couple times, right?
Yeah, if he plays his best game, he believes essentially he can't be stopped. That's him saying, no, if I play my best football, I can't be stopped.
That's big Dak energy right there.
And he has 25 total touchdowns, 2 interceptions in the past 8 games, with a 7-1 record over that span. And Jerry Jones is even saying that that he thinks this is the best football Dak has played. He's talking about Super Bowls. He recently said, this is Jerry Jones, comes from John Machota. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones said his biggest career disappointment, not winning a Super Bowl with Tony Romo. He said he'd be equally disappointed if he doesn't win one with Dak Prescott. Dak is a player who is qualified in every way to have a Super Bowl in his career. Now, I'm not going into the Tony Romo, Dak Prescott thing, but the one thing they have in common that I brought up to you guys, and it is, I know Cowboys fans know this all too well because you've had to live it, because the Cowboys can't seem to get past that divisional round. They are 0-7, all right, since the last Super Bowl win for the Cowboys have yet to return to the NFC title game, and are 0-7 in the divisional round. 3 of those losses have come to the 49ers and have come with Dak Prescott under center or Tony Romo. How about this little stat? If you go look at it, the Cowboys are the only team, they're the only team, only franchise with 2 quarterbacks are playing 3 or more divisional round games without winning one at all. They are the only team that has gotten as close as they have, as many times as they have, and not been able to break through. this is the year they have to break through. This is the year. If they don't play in the NFC title game this year, then I'll admit the Cowboys might need to think about another plan.
Yeah, that's going to be the challenge because they are playing, and this says Dak.
I mean, break through the divisional round.
No, I get you.
Yeah, I'm not talking about Super Bowl.
And it's the problem is the Niners' kryptonite, right? Beat them each of the last 2 Januaries, beat them earlier in Week 5 like a drum, and there's a mental thing to that right now that. If we talk about staying healthy, this is the one year the Niners are actually staying healthy so far.
It is.
And they're going to be a tough at this point, unless they stumble, you're going to have to go there to play the Niners in San Francisco, which is a tough place to play. Cowboys are faster at home, faster on turf. And early, I don't know. How about this? Buffalo, an early 1.5-point favorite over the Cowboys this coming Sunday. Early 1.5 points. So the Cowboys, an early road dog, minimal, but a road dog in Buffalo against Josh Allen and the Bills, who saved their season yesterday with that penalty call, by the way. That penalty call saved their year.
Yeah, I'll take the Cowboys there.
Me too.
I'll take the Cowboys actually right now.
I'd for sure be picking the Cowboys if that penalty hadn't been thrown yesterday by Kadarius Toney and the Chiefs had won that game, because I think based on the week Buffalo just had with Von Miller stuff and Sean McDermott, that may have ended their year. Like you might have gone in and taken on a dead dog essentially. Meanwhile, that win, now they're right back in the thick with Houston losing and Indianapolis losing yesterday, and they're right back in this thing in the AFC. That game means a lot to them, to say the least.
It's huge. I think it was such an impressive win for the Cowboys to beat the Eagles in the manner in which they did. I mean, the Cowboys snapped the Eagles' streak of 110 straight regular season games with at least one offensive touchdown. Their last game where they didn't score an offensive touchdown was in 2017. So that was a hell of a win. And the Cowboys have been outscored NFC East teams now 190-68, 122-point margin. It's the largest in the NFL for any in-division games. The Eagles are -5 versus the NFC East in terms of scoring. It's just weird.
Well, I'll say this, and the
Eagles are trending the wrong way. I should just say.
Sure.
They're just going the wrong way.
And they survived the Chiefs game. They survived the Bills game. They survived the first Cowboys matchup, and now if you're an Eagles fan, you're kind of looking at it and saying, okay, the wheels came off. We got smoked by San Francisco, got smoked by the Cowboys. We're not winning with duct tape and baling wire anymore, and now that's 2 bad losses. But they still, as Ty just said, are the favorites to win the division, because now the schedule softens up, and they may be able to get their footing now ahead of the playoffs. But right now, clearly, San Francisco and Dallas are the best teams in the NFC. They might be the best 2 teams in all of football.